I'm Jeff Crawford with Quantum Light Shamanic Healing, and today I'm going to discuss two different cards that I think are pretty relevant right now. The first one I'd like to look at is the Chariot. The Chariot is the seventh card in the major arcana, which means it is a broad major theme. It is the major theme in somebody's life within which the sub-themes would take place. And the Chariot, we have number 7, which means a lot of things, but especially in light of what we're seeing here, it is being aware of the divine, the divine's presence saturating our whole world, saturating you, realizing it's the very breath of God that gives you life. It's God is with you and with everything else. God is literally in everything. Every particle that's moving in our bodies and our atmosphere is moving because of the consciousness of the divine, And so when you realize that, it allows you to function at a higher level. You're not just dealing with shame and guilt and these notions that tend to keep us trapped in our lower realms, that keep us limited because we're always trying to appease some God, to get forgiveness, to get grace, to do better, and we get released from that somewhat when we realize that the divine is in everything. And so then we are more readily able to focus on connecting with the divine instead of just spinning our wheels trying to be better people, right? We become better people because of our connection with the divine and our awareness. And that this card really beautifully demonstrates that. You have the black and the white, sphinx, symbolic in short of our life's progressions and our shadow and light, the moon and the sun, and how we find an equilibrium and balance with both, so that we are leveraging both. Black not necessarily being bad here, but being the obscure, the subconscious, the intuitive, the things that aren't readily seen that are under the surface. The white, the sun, being more like the things that we present, our expression, our outward actions, and so forth. And so we bring those together. We find an equilibrium, and it has a lot to do with how we interact with the material world, what we're creating, what we're manifesting in the material world, what are our actions. And then we see that brought in with spirit, this connection with spirit. We interact with spirit so that we can get more of a perspective on the bigger picture, look at it allegorical, look at it from the standpoint of what part of this situation is eternal, what part, if it were a book to be read, would I want people to read and see the hero getting it right? What part of this situation allows me to be in integrity with my own spirit, with my own faith, with my own understanding of source, whether that be God or just source, the all? How do I live in that kind of integrity? And what's beautiful about this card is typically when this shows up, there are some material, physical barriers in one's life or situational. There are challenges, there's obstacles. And when this comes up, if you are able to then see the divine in all of it, if it's a person, don't take them literally, personally as your enemy, realizing they're in their own world. They're playing the role perfectly. What they're doing is the actual key you need to grow, that's going to allow you to catapult up to that next level because of the challenge they're presenting as they're supposed to. It's not about them, it's about you and how you're interacting with them. And when you take this perspective, you tend to get it right, and things tend to break through. Things happen that don't happen normally. It's like God makes a way, but it's the divine in you that sparks that potential to align with the divine in such a way that things change. You manifest a breakthrough. I like this card. I've chosen this one specifically because it's a 7-year this year. And I think this card beautifully illustrates what we need to be doing as a human family on planet Earth. We are full of obstacles right now. There are many forces that we would perceive to be dark and limiting and almost impossible. And yet, if we can all just get back to the basics and realize who we are, realize our inward divinity, realize our connection to the divine, look at things not so literally and personally as though we're being attacked, but we are in some ways, but it's because we're allowing it. And rather take that more spiritual view, view things as we would perceive the divine to view them, and operate on that level so that we can figure out, what the priorities are, where our energy really does make the internal impact and not just, the immediate one for whatever the challenge is. Then we come into our power. Then we change the world, through our energy, through our integrity, through our sense of awareness of who we are and our purpose. And that's something we can all come together on. There are universal truths that we can find ourselves united on all around the world. If we can start operating on that basis instead of being distracted by the kabuki theater of bad politics, of selfish people, we have a real chance at succeeding in creating a beautiful world. I think that is the essence of what the Chariot represents. Another card that I think is grossly misunderstood and yet very powerful, and it shows up in readings, and it is the Wheel of Fortune. And I love this card. But most people are taught and will read it as good luck or fate. Well, the problem with that is, as with any spiritual text, it's not about fate. It's about the keys to the kingdom. It's about your own spiritual evolution. So then you can participate in the creation of your future. You do have a free will, okay? So to say that, it's just fate is somewhat contradictory to the whole purpose of and history of what we know about the tarot. To say it's good luck, well, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to have this card prominent in their lives, and they're going to have very bad luck. What do you do about that? How you get it wrong? Well, you get it wrong because it isn't good luck at all, okay? This is the tarot, the Egyptian royal road of life. We actually see the letters on the wheel itself, the rota, the wheel with which we progress along that road, the Torah, the universal laws by which we do that navigating with the rota along the royal road of life, the tarot. And so it's like a wheel within a wheel within a wheel. It's all spinning. And someone who understands the tarot realizes we're right on top of this wheel. We're right on top with our full intellectual capacity to exercise our will, to discipline ourselves, to align ourselves with a bigger picture, to align ourselves with what we desire in our world. And if we do that, you're going to reap what you sow and then some. So if you go for what you really desire, not just your carnal desires, but those that are in alignment with your integrity, with your spirit, it's going to be so much better than you even imagined. This is going to take that and it's going to amplify it if you make concrete, measurable, quantifiable steps in that direction. On the opposite end, if you give in to self-limiting behaviors, if you give in to expectations, if you just get along, to go along, wow, that's going to be worse than you ever imagined. It's going to feel like terrible luck. And so my encouragement is, especially when this shows up in a reading, this isn't, don't take this as fate or as good or bad luck. You set it in motion. Create what you want. Go for what you want, not for what you think you can get. Realize that you are connected with Source in such a way that you do have some control over what this is going to amplify and create for you. So to learn more and to work with me, go to my website at www.nashvilleshaman.com.